You're listening to IPR's podcast. If you enjoy what you hear, please thank us. We're very fragile right now. And then one day, you meet a girl who turns up the heat on the burner under your heart. And you've forgotten years ago that the pilot light was even on.
Hello, and welcome to May I Have the Aisle Seat? I Need to Be Able to Crack My Knees, IPR's weekly look at the movies. I'm your host, Marcus Nassiscram. What you just heard was a clip from the newest in a trend of American remakes of underground Micronesian art house films. The original, titled The Great Loneliness Will Separate, was purchased by Vainglory Entertainment after it won the Milieu de Pelle Award at the Moroccan VHS Festival last year. It cost the equivalent of 19 American cents to produce, and went on to gross over $241 US, making it proportionately the most successful film of all time. The new American remake is titled White Hot Burn, the 6D BrainMax experience, brought to you by It's a Gas, the natural gas utility company, exclusively for teens. With us today, as always, are Shauna Lieber-Zoster, founder of American Cinephile and film critic for the Albany Nugget. Welcome, Shauna.
Thanks, Marcus.
Harvey Potts, professor of popular media at the Fitzgerald Institute, who joins us today despite a recent severe allergic reaction to whole grain wedding cake that created a swelling in his temporal lobe, resulting in erratic brain function. Harvey, thank you for being a trooper.
You're welcome. It feels good to welcome.
And lastly, always providing a refreshingly new take on cinema, Scrob, the movie-reviewing robot from CLM's All-Robot News Hour, Robot News Hour.
Beep, boop, bop. I review movies. I'm just kidding, of course. I don't actually talk like that. Some people think all robots talk like that, and I just want to point out how ignorant and hateful that stereotype is.
Well, it's great to have all three of you here. Now, this film has garnered quite a bit of attention for several reasons. Its animated sequences, its repurposing of vintage colonoscopy footage from the 70s, and of course for its being underwritten by It's a Gas, the natural gas utility company exclusively for teens, which, in the interest of full disclosure, is also the favorite gas company of my teenage daughter Bethica. She just loves the customizable gas meters and hot pink earthquake shutoff valve. Let's hear another clip.
Jake, you've got to get out of there.
I can't go back now. My wife's under that avalanche. She'll freeze to death in less than an hour.
Okay, there's a space heater in that cabin. We're trying to get electricity back on so she can turn it on.
No good. Power line's completely severed, and you know electricity can't be stored.
Oil then. The cabin probably has an oil-run water heater.
And give money to corrupt Middle Eastern oil barons, no thanks.
There's got to be a way, Jake. Some way.
Hold on. I have an idea.
Shauna, what'd you think?
Well, I enjoyed this film a lot. Grady Russell has charisma to burn. I always enjoyed him on President Mike MD, and 16-year-old Trila de Bromeo, who played his wife, was simply wonderful. The scene in which they make love on the back of a rampaging elephant was just stunning. They're wonderful actors to watch. Really, the whole cast, I thought, was top-notch.
Yeah.
I'd have to strongly recommend this film.
Don't forget Ramjot Freeman.
Oh, yes.
He, of course, was the lead in the original Micronesian version of the film, and here he plays a small but vital role as the deceased team leader in an animated flash-forward dream sequence.
That's right. And I understand that for the animation, they had him in one of those motion capture suits?
Yes, absolutely. And though he had no lines, his body movements, or in this case lack thereof, since his character was deceased, were crucial. If he had moved even a little bit, it would have really lessened the emotional impact of the scene, but he seemed to keep pretty still to me.
I absolutely agree. Oop, everything's purple.
Scrob, you've been uncharacteristically quiet. Do I take it you're not as thrilled with the movie?
I don't know. I mean, yes, I loved Trila de Bromeo. There's certainly no other teenager out there who makes natural gas look so appealing. But I think my issue with this film was simply, I've seen it before. The snowmobile chase, the hammer fight at the car wash, 2 different scenes that involve an Adirondack chair. I just kept thinking, don't we get enough of this on the evening news?
See, I loved the hammer fight at the car wash, and I don't think we've ever really seen it done with such panache and caking.
I also have to stick up for Adirondack chairs. I don't care if I see them in every film I review. For me, there's just no such thing as too much timeless rustic design or kiln-dried mahogany construction. But I do see Scrob's point in that the chairs in the movie theater are generally far less appealing than those on screen, and thus might leave the audience feeling a bit cheated and let down.
That wasn't my point at all.
Yeah, hold on for a sec, my mom's here. Okay, she's gone.
One thing that I'd like to ask you about, since I understand that there's been some controversy, there's a scene in which an African-American woman is slapping an older Middle Eastern-looking man on the buttocks repeatedly while he's trying to balance a newborn baby on his head. And they're next to a stovetop with a hot wok full of sizzling oil. And the whole time the woman is shouting, gay marriage, needle exchange. Did you feel that this scene was well lit?
Absolutely not. There's been a huge outcry about this scene because it was shot with one key light, no fill, and you can barely see the hot golden bubbles of boiling oil in the skillet. And I think that truly diminishes the power of that scene.
I'll agree with you on that point, Scrub. So much of the film was so carefully crafted. I mean, each scene composed and shot with so much attention to detail that the carelessness shown in that scene was quite jarring.
Well, I'm not sure how I feel about the controversy.
Hitler burrito!
There it is. Yes, I don't quite understand the controversy, especially since there was a very aesthetically pleasing Adirondack chair in the very next scene. And that Adirondack chair, by the way, was exquisitely lit.
Oh, absolutely. I think they got that just right.
Has anyone seen my eyes? I think they rolled under the table.
A lot of people are comparing this film to another successful American remake, The Secret Princess Recipe, whose original Micronesian title was Crushing Vanity of the Whorewoman. Now, this movie, The Secret Princess Recipe, that is, was a huge success on cable and DVD, often with multiple generations of women in a family watching it together, having viewing parties, etc. Do you think that White Hot Burn will garner the same kind of dedicated cult following, Scrob?
I don't think so. You have to remember that the Secret Princess Recipe DVD came with a slew of extra items. A chamomile-scented honesty journal like the lead character had, a bottle of carbonated breast milk substitute for weaning rituals, and a package of low-fat lemon bars containing a highly addictive endorphin supplement extracted from feral cat glands. According to the press release, the only extra they plan on including with the White Hot Burn DVD is a stick of natural gas-flavored chewing gum.
I think that's a bold choice, though, to keep it simple. I'm sexually attracted to gangly, hairy women.
Harvey, do you need to lie down for a few minutes?
No, I'm feeling much better, actually. The brain swelling is going down. I'm just sincerely attracted to gangly, hairy women. Always have been. I'm not sure why I bring that up.
Now, I enjoyed The Secret Princess Recipe. I found it extremely inspiring and uplifting, and though I'd heard the sentiment in it was sometimes a little cloying and overdone, I actually teared up at the end. I don't think I was the only one.
No, you weren't, Marcus. And I have a bit of a chip on my shoulder about the tendency of so-called chick flicks to use cheap emotional tricks to get a certain reaction from the audience. But when they wheel the dying grandmother into the little girl's piano recital, I have to admit, I cried like a baby. I couldn't help it, you know? I'm not a robot. I'm not some heartless critic who's immune
What did
to a
you just say?
I just said I'm not a Well, the point
What
is...
did you say?
I just meant that although, in general, I'm a fairly level-headed person...
Beep boop bop, I'm just a robot. I couldn't possibly understand emotions. 7 + 1 is 8. Beep boop bop.
Scrob, that's not fair. I just meant
You know
that...
what? Just drop it, Shauna.
I-
Drop it, okay? Let's just drop it.
Tell me your thoughts on the 6D aspect of the film, because I felt it was pretty impressive.
Oh, it was impressive, yes. Though the glasses they give you to wear are a little cumbersome. Each pair has a 30-gig processor and a cooling fan with titanium casing, so they're a bit heavy, but they do come with a polyethylene neck support, so once you get used to the spinal pressure, the 6D effect is pretty amazing. Okay, I think that's the last of it.
I'm glad you brought that up, Marcus, because the 6D effect was the one aspect of the film I was lukewarm on. Yes, it's astounding that when the caribou explodes, you not only see a piece of it flying right at you, but you can sense it empathically and even taste it in the back of your throat a little. But I felt all that distracted somewhat from the simple story of a man and his underaged bride discovering their passion for each other while serenaded by the lulling hiss of a natural gas feed.
Scrob, any final thoughts?
Well, I think if there's one thing to take away from this film, it's that love can triumph, even when one person can't get past what the other person is, or the disappointing prejudices they might have. regarding robots.
Well, that's all the time we have. Please come back and join us next week for a discussion on this year's Pan-Arctic Film Festival. Thanks to our critics Shauna Lieber-Zoster, Harvey Potts, and Scrob, and to our corporate underwriters for the show, Sad Polly's Microwavable Salads. I'm Marcus Nassescram, and thanks for tuning in to IPR, Irrational Public Radio.